Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Skulls and Shackles. I'm Thomas, your DM for this adventure, and around the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon,
Maximus Shans,
Ataraxia Kalian,
and Buster Bilgewater.
The Satyr's song is dedicated to help Ataraxia find his mom, find a portal to the Feyworld if need be, and after gathering information, they found two possible targets, one for adventure/loot, and the other for a possible portal, specific port that they can go visit that is a bit rough and tumble. Since the treasure on Lady Inkskin's back is closer to their current location, that's the natural course that they took. They led the Satyr's song about half a day's journey or an hour journey away from Mancatcher Cove. And our brave adventuring crew here, the Captain's Council, they took the Silvery Barb, and they traveled to Mancatcher Cove just as sun was setting. With a poem in mind and some information from Ataraxia/Ned about deciphering the poem itself, we join our adventurers here as night falls in Mancatcher Cove. And that is where we join on this week's episode of I Cast Fireball. Before we jump into what you would like to do now that you are in Mancatcher Cove, I would actually like to apologize as the DM and read you a description as the sun is setting to give you a better idea of what Mancatcher Cove looks like, just to remind ourselves and our listeners here. Mancatcher Cove forms an almost perfectly round bowl in the side of this jungle-cloaked island. The water in the circular bowl, as you can catch in the twilight sunlight, is almost an indigo hue compared to the turquoise of the waters surrounding the island, hinting at the extreme depth of the cove. Cliffs surround the bowl on all sides except the entrance, which you have already passed through, and a few small beaches have formed where the water meets the rock face. The jungle grows thickly atop these cliffs, the massive trees spreading their branches out and over the cove. And from these trees, a series of interlaced vines have grown like a loose net canopy 100 feet above the water, giving the cove a cave-like quality in the shadows of twilight. More vines, creepers, and roots extend down the cliffs, creating a dense maze of twisting tendrils that shroud numerous dark hollows in the rock itself. That is to give you another reminder of what Mancatcher Cove looks like and is before you.
You know what that makes me think? Why not just toss a clairvoyance up above us and see if I can get any sort of image from above of maybe what the grave lady's prize tooth would be.
Sure. As you toss a clairvoyance above, how high? Let's see.
Yeah, clairvoyance.
That or one of our other companions can just fly up.
That's true. That's true. Clairvoyance is a third level slot, which I have a decent amount of, and I know that the flight is only once per long rest.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And this range is a mile.
Yes.
Could Ignis throw an echo up into the sky and then swap them and just fall down?
it has a...
I'm just playing.
I can do it within 15 feet.
Okay.
It can be 30 feet away, but I can only cast it from 15 feet. It just falls.
Ned, why don't you describe how Ataraxia invokes his clairvoyance instead of me pushing on you the thematic element here?
Yeah, what I do is I reach up with both of my hands and I cover my eyes and kind of scoop my fingers. And when I open them back up, I'm holding like a googly eye in each hand. And I take them and I flick them both way, way up into the air far above me. and they kind of spin around each other until they merge into one big, invisible eyeball that you are only able to see if you can see invisibility. But now that's where my sensor is located.
Excellent. And did you want to go the full mile up, or...
Not a full mile. Let's go like 500 feet up, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Above the vines that have creeped across the island here. So, what you do see is a lot of what I already described, but it is a bit unusual how interlaced these vines are across this circular cove that you find yourself in. It's very clear the jarring, distinct coloring of the deep blue indigo compared with the turquoise surrounding where you currently are. You and your ship are currently on the outskirts of the cove, not quite in the center, still above the turquoise, but there is a massive blue recess into the water that just falls and falls and falls. You do see those beaches I mentioned on the north, northwest, west, south as well. But then on the southwest, you see a peculiar rock formation that you can't quite pick out here, but it juts out almost above the water and possibly it emanates from the water itself. But this is as the sun is starting to set.
We found our heading.
We found our heading.
Here we go.
You just tell us where to go, Captain.
Okay, and I point directly towards that stone outcropping there.
Okay, sounds good. Now this is about 300 feet across. So just to be aware, to go from one side to the other and to go to that peculiar landmass I just described in the southwest, it would be about 300 feet. Or are you going to go through the center over this massive pit, or are you going to hug the bottom, going around the rim of this cove?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. We still don't know what's down there. That's really deep water. So I think it might behoove us to not go out into the middle of that weirdly deep whatever it is that's going on here.
I'm kind of drawn to it, if I'm being honest. I mean, listen, I could cast, water breathing on all of us, and if something pulls us down, then we're okay. Like...
Oh, we're so okay. Just totally, completely okay. So
we're in the Leviathan's stomach, but we can breathe water.
Buster is going to quick, under his breath, just force arcane in magic's wake, or as proclaimed school source and make, and put out a 30-foot detect magic on us as we move forward.
Excellent. And that lasts for 10 minutes, an hour?
It's concentration.
I think it's 10 minutes.
Probably.
Text
10 minutes. Yep.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
And I've also got my clairvoyance for 10 minutes, so I'm just going to leave that on, and hopefully nothing comes to try and get us.
Okay, I'll have Ataraxia roll with disadvantage.
With disadvantage?
Perception, please.
Because of the vines.
Perception, okay.
Could also be the waning light.
Oh.
Could be.
That sounds implausible. With disadvantage, that's a 13.
13, okay, good to know. And as you are skirting around the south, you're on the eastern portion of this cove, going east, southeast, south, southwest to try to get to this location. Ignis taking up the oar, even though she knows that it's already automatic. She's saying it's the principle of the matter. And it's at that point she sees a little switch that she clicks. And actually it turns off the auto throwing if she wants.
A switch.
It's a rope. It's a rope like
magical
switch.
incantation. It's just this.
And she goes, oh, which of course Ignis does. She wants to be in control of this stealth here. Ignis and Buster, I'll say both of you contributing to the journey here. Do either of you want to roll stealth with advantage, or do you each want to roll stealth separately? And Buster, I'll allow you to add your sailor check instead of the traditional check if that is better with stealth.
Yeah, sailing check would be better
I'll
than
give him advantage then, because I'll just do as he tells me. I'll trust his nautical knowledge more than mine.
Okay.
Great. Sounds good. So Buster, with advantage, you can roll a stealth check or a sailing check.
I'll roll the sailing check with advantage. That is a 19.
19, and the intent of that is for stealth, so I'll make a note of that as well. Stealth check, 19. Perception, 13. You start to slowly make your way, just slowly rowing, trying not to displace the water too terribly much, as the sun has disappeared completely at this point. Clairvoyance, I'll say, is about up, and detect magic, I'll say, Buster, you do not get any pings of any magic currently.
Good.
Within the 10 minutes, I'll say you are able to get to the other side to allow a clairvoyance or detect magic to ping at least once or twice and get a good solid idea of what's going on around you. And with that, Buster, you still do not pick up any magical auras as you get closer and closer to this land.
I'm gonna pop it again.
Okay, sounds good. As you pop it again, as you get to this land mass here, what sort of light source do you have?
I have dark vision and I also have light.
I got a torch.
So, Captain, would you prefer us to have... I can cast it up here on the bowsprit. Would you like some light as we're going in, or do we feel like we need to be sneaky and do something else?
I feel like sneakiness initially would behoove us. So maybe we have you kind of scope things out initially, and then if we need to get more eyes on it, then we can pop some more light out there.
All right, Captain. So Ignis will flip the switch again, back to auto rowing mode, and will take a post near the bow of the ship. And as she goes, who has that far scope? Is that Ataraxia, or is it Max? The far glass.
Max has one.
Max has it, right?
Yeah.
We both got one.
Does?
Yeah, I think so.
She'll pilfer a spyglass off somebody as she walks by without asking permission, and stand at the bow of the ship and stand as lookout.
Can I ask a crunchy question?
Sure.
So those spectacles that grant a better perception check, right?
Investigation when you're looking at something very small.
Something very small, or is it something very close to the spectacles?
I think it's a close.
Would a far-seeing glass to the spectacles technically be looking at an image reflected closely to the spectacles?
Ignis currently has the spectacles.
I'll allow it to work with a high percentage, meaning it'll have a low percent of failure, but every time you attempt to combine the two, I'll roll to see if you can line it up exactly. And so, like, let's say it works 80% of the time, right? I will allow that to happen.
It works.
Okay, it works every time.
That makes no sense. If you choose,
we're gonna make the most
hide
benign
that.
magic items useful. So help me.
Thomas is happy when we do that.
That was nice. That was nice.
Because then you use my gifts, and it makes me feel good.
Ignis does currently have those spectacles on her face.
Yes.
Or on her person. She'll put them on her face. To look through the far glass to see if this really does work the way that Buster thinks it will. She hasn't tried it yet, so what the heck? Let's try it.
All right. This ninja one is the 10, and this purple one is the 1. Here we go. 80%. That's a 31. It works. So, as you gaze upon the outcropping, your dark vision... This is interesting. Your dark vision... I've never had to think about this. Your dark vision only allows you to see 60 feet in front of you. But I imagine that's the intent of that is just because your corneas can't see much farther than that. So, if you're seeing through a far glass, would your dark vision start the 60 feet where you are looking at? Right? I mean...
Right? It would be whatever's there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is it's whatever's most beneficial for us, the players, obviously.
If it's not dictated by enough light existing, then yes. If it is dictated by light existing, then no. I would think.
Don't like night vision goggles have scopes on them? I don't know how night vision goggles work,
but if it works like that, if it's just like your ability to see in darkness,
I'm going to say that's what's going to happen. I'm going to say what's going to happen. So what do the near glasses do, Mickey? Yet again,
I don't know.
It's an advantage, isn't it?
It gives you some kind of advantage when you are looking at something up close, but I don't remember if it's advantage or if it's a plus. It's eyes of minute seeing. Glasses advantage on investigation. That's what I have written down.
Eyes of minute seeing.
So we just let you roll twice and pick the best, right?
Well, wearing them, you can see much better than normal out to a range of 1 foot. You have advantage on investigation checks that rely on sight while searching an area or studying an object within that range. Okay.
Technically, your object is the far-seeing lens.
So this is how I you know where the structure is because Ataraxia gave you that. So you're not trying to perceive anything there. You are trying to investigate what is going on here. So I'll allow you to roll an investigation check then with advantage, Ignis.
And she's got killer investigation if memory serves.
I'm observant, so I have a plus to it. My passive investigation is very high. A non-natural 20.
Let's go.
Ooh. Here we are. This is what you glean with your dark vision. With your dark vision, you peek into this cove under half moonlight, and so your vision actually swims in and out of dark vision from time to time because it's partly aided by this low light while also being enhanced by your magical senses. And from the east, the jungle cliffs seem to come alive with patterns of shadow, and sometimes there seem to be maybe some faint flickering of fireflies as well. Now, these cliffs, they look normal currently, but as you keep getting rowed closer and closer and the sunlight hitting this rock formation, which this is what it is, there are a few moments that you are glancing at where it almost seems magical, and this looks like some shadows are being displayed as a result of the rocks lining up ever so slightly. And in this shadowy half moonlight here, groups of caves and crevices on the cliffside, they take on the appearance of a grinning skull. And as this moonlight and dark vision illuminates the shadow that resembled the skull's mouth, a previously unseen glint, and it is so faint, only because you got that non-natural 20, of something which in the moonlight shimmers as silver, sparkles, as if the skull happens to have some sort of tooth that gleams.
Okay, prize tooth. Ignis will relay that to the rest of the crew, or the rest of the council, in hushed tones. That's specifically where we think we need to go. Can I also, with my dark vision, because there's all of these vines and potentially treacherous water, figure out a way to navigate a way over there?
You already are making your way over there due to Ataraxia's direction initially. This is actually some crevices on a natural beach here. So you're able to keep hugging the wall of the cove without going over the deep water. And it seems like if you just hug, it's a pretty straight shot. But what were you intending, Ignis?
It was just, if we're pretty sure that's where we're going, just then to almost pull back that responsibility of, okay, that's where we're going, and then just making sure as we're approaching that, she's watching the water and watching to make sure that there's no other obstacles getting to the beach.
I see. With that, I will need a perception check from you, Ignis, at that point, which, of course, is not with advantage.
That's okay. I don't have great perception anyway. That's a 5.
5.
So I have a -1 to it.
This water it's a bit unnerving how quickly this water drops off. It's almost like there's a cliff above the water, a little bit of land underneath the water, and then another massive cliff that just falls into the abyss that you cannot see below. And that it doesn't terrify you. You've been on the seas, but it is something to be aware of. And it terrifies Thomas IRL.
Not a fan of deep water?
Oh, this should be a icebreaker question.
We still don't know what's down there.
We still don't know what's down there. So, Max, while all of this is happening, what are you doing in particular, or what is going through your mind as you make your way towards the beach side here, having a clear direction where the silvery barb is going, and feeling that people are taking on their role to protect the boat? What is going through your mind as you also are on guard?
Max is thinking, I can't see anything. No. Well, in all this description, Max has been thinking like, okay, how can I make myself useful here? How can I help it? Deep water, there's deep water here. We don't know what's in the deep water. We have to sail through the deep water to get to this thing. There's a long shot, but we're going to try it. Max will reach into his pouch and grab just like a kit of food, maybe some bread he took off the ship or some cheese or something. And Max is, in a very impromptu way, going to try and fish.
Don't feed the sea monster.
And I would like to use my survival skills to fish.
It's just some night fishing.
Sir.
Okay.
We're telling the monster hunter not to try and attract a monster.
So as I'm just trying to fish, I'm not like sinking it down. I'm not trying to like drop a line all
we
the
might
way
need
down.
to. We might need to eat something when we get to the beach.
Yeah,
But,
Leviathans have a lot of meat on them.
Oh my
Max
gosh.
wants to fish. So Max is going to just maybe like off of clothing, try and I would think survival skill, that's the one I would rely on, because it's kind of okay, I'm trying to survive and trying to get food, trying to get an animal caught. Max is going to try and piece together what he has on him, what's in his pack, to try and catch a fish.
Okay. Sounds good. So as you piece together some bait and a fishing pole, or maybe just a string with a
just
hook
string
on it.
probably.
String and hook. Fishing pole is too cumbersome to bring. But you kind of just drop it down, weight it down a little bit, and I'll have you roll a survival check.
You know, this is when you miss Fleeple for, what is it?
Guidance.
Yeah,
Guidance
guidance.
for guidance.
I mean, I've still got bardic inspiration.
That is, that's not bad. That's a 16.
As you drop your line down, I mean, how big's your bait? It's not that big, is it? Is it like a bloody head, or?
I mean, it's just literally a piece of bread or cheese. No, it's just like a little Max is just looking for a fish, just an average fish.
Yeah, just something, and you're just kind of like pulling it, tucking it this way and that every so often as the silvery barb moves over in that direction. And yeah, we'll leave that for the time being. And as we keep moving westward, until you get close enough to see the beach, and it is a small beach. It is maybe 10-foot long natural like sand beach that you can push your pontoon boat onto and jump up on there. Now, it's very difficult for the rest of the crew to see it, but Ignis, you can clearly see what you were talking about. Regardless of the moonlight, with your dark vision, you're close enough now within that 60 feet range. The rest of you, as you get to the sand, you're finally able to make out some of the wall due to the half moonlight, as this is considered low light for now.
The thing that looks like a skull.
So this is it was a rock formation that, when light shined upon it, created the grin of a skull on the mountainside specifically. And so this mountainside is where Ignis has driven or led you towards, that Ataraxia has confirmed, hey, this is kind of what I saw with clairvoyance as well.
Now that we're on the beach, are we able to see where that glittering point was still, or was it the angle of the moonlight?
So there are 2 caves in front of you. And unfortunately, the moonlight isn't exactly in the correct position to be able to determine where the gleam was pointing, which of the 2 caves. And there's just one on the right, and there's one on the left. And so, Ignis, you weren't able to determine where you saw that gleam, because it didn't line up with the cave exactly, but you did get the gleam to inform you, like, hey, this is probably where we need to go.
I mean, presumably, when the sun rises, that's when it will shine off that gleam thing again, and we'll be able to know where to go. Find the captain's wayward orb so we can climb it.
Wayward could mean a difficult terrain.
Come on, fishy,
Challenging
fishy.
to climb.
I mean, should we chill out here for a little bit, wait until dawn?
Unless the next line in the poem is after we go into the cave. Maybe the Dawnflower's first kiss we can only see from inside the cave at dawn.
Spy the grave lady's prized tooth.
If I was a fish, I'd want to eat this. Come on, fishy, eat my...
Is there an actual flower known as the Dawnflower?
Good question.
That's a good question. I just know it is a name for Sarenrae, but...
And that is what you were able to recall about the Dawnflower. It's regarded to Sarenrae specifically.
And Sarenrae is
the
the
goddess
god
of the sun.
Of the sun. Okay.
Sarenrae's first kiss. The first light.
Yeah, the sunrise
Right.
should show us where to climb.
Fish like food, food's in the water. Come on, little
But we
fishy,
already saw
get
the
food.
prized tooth with the moonlight. We just can't see it currently.
So we need to wait here. We need to wait here for the morning.
I will allow Ignis and Ataraxia both to make a history check regarding Captain Wolf specifically and pirate lore here.
Hey, I pirated. Could I do a history check?
Well, not this time. Buster.
Darn.
Could I use my opportunity to give advantage to Ignis instead?
I think so.
Good. I only have +1 history.
Have +5 history. 17.
That's enough.
Haha.
So, talking this out, piecing it together, you don't know much about Captain Wolf, as we had previously determined, talking to Sandara, and you begrudgingly had to listen to Sandara's knowledge, right?
Sure did.
But you've been around pirates, you've been around sailing, and you've been around harshness throughout your life. And when pirates, they sometimes voluntarily feign illness to stand out, right? Or they feign, or when they do get injured, they really accentuate it to give themselves some infamy and get a good story out of it, right?
Sure.
So when you think about a wayward orb, and you think about a pirate and how they, those that possibly get injured, you start to think about eyes and glass eyes or an eye patch, and you go, wayward orb, and you come to the conclusion, or rather the conclusion that Captain Wolf must have been, he must have lost an eye and therefore must have had a quote-unquote wayward orb. Of course, you don't know which of the eyes this specific captain lost in battle, which would have told you which cave to enter, but that does seem to be another piece of the puzzle in the poem here.
So the caves are his eyes.
Max, I need you to roll a perception with disadvantage, please.
Disadvantage? Oh, that's terrible. 11.
And do you have any pluses for aquatic creatures or anything like that with your monster hunter or slayer?
I mean, I speak Aquan. That's not really you get a +5 for fish. I don't have that.
All right. So with a plus 11, you feel the ebbs and flows. You don't feel as many ebbs and flows as you would expect in this water. So that to you tells you that there's not a lot of current that comes through into this cove, which kind of makes sense, right? It's a cove. So like it's going to be broken up by this landmass here. So the water is a bit stale, and only occasionally do you feel like a little flick back and forth from like a rogue current, so to speak. You do feel like a strong one here or there occasionally, but nothing too major.
So if the Dawnflower's first kiss is dawn, and we, like, I mean, if this is the skull, maybe those are his eyes. If we're trying to figure out which one he lost, do we need to wait till dawn? Because that is a really long time to wait.
Do I sense magical barriers or any kind of enchanted items or objects?
No, you're still on the second casting of Detect Magic, and you don't the one you're here. And you're right on the sand. You're right up near the entrance, and so you don't feel any, like, magical traps. You don't feel any magical barriers. You don't feel any magic items, like, emanating from, like, deep within. And so yeah, that's... I wouldn't necessarily say unusual if the caves go and go and go for a long time, right?
And if there are like creatures with like magic weapons or things like that, I don't detect anybody.
Correct, you don't.
Here's my thought process. I'm going to tell you what I was thinking, and you can tell me if this is something that they could see. So in my mind, I feel like you were saying that the moonlight was coming through a specific thing that then reflected the skull's smile onto this cliff face. Is that a physical location that if I was able to get enough light behind it, we could create our own moon or sunlight? Or is it like Indiana Jones' Tomb Raider, it has to be at just the right angle, therefore we could never do it ourselves?
If only we could have somebody who can create light and then also fly around and position themselves.
Well, that's my idea.
Yeah.
But I'm just asking the DM, is that even something that is possible within the world? Or is it like there's no way to tell where the moon was coming through?
No, it absolutely is possible. Making the deduction of like first light, you absolutely can determine like, okay, well, it probably needs to be an angle similar to like this. And you just need to recreate that somehow.
Excellent. Well, I just happen to be able to cast light.
And Mickey, I'm going to give you an inspiration for that.
That was super clever.
Good thinking.
Very clever.
Talk about escape rooms.
I just watched a lot of Tomb Raider. Okay, so I will explain that then to the council, to receive counsel on it. Do you think this is something that we could work? I only get one shot at it. If we don't get quite to the right angle, maybe Max could have a second. But if that, we're done for the day, being able to fly.
We're camping.
I'm fishing currently.
I, for one, am super into this idea.
Same.
All right. Actually, let me look up the light.
Excuse me.
Is light proportional to the thing that I light up? The brightness of it?
I think it always casts light as if it's a torch, because it's just the light cantrip, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's just
right.
the cantrip.
Daylight is
Yeah,
the
it's not
spell
daylight.
as well.
It's
Yeah.
just light.
Okay, so that means it can only cast...
Light in a 20-foot radius. I'm sure that's probably out of 20 feet, huh?
But, you could probably get an angle, right?
If I use the spyglass, and I'll just... I'll MacGyver a situation.
I could make a disc of ice that you could...
Yeah,
Shine
refract
light
it
So
through.
lens.
Yeah.
Max, I'll have you roll perception with disadvantage, please.
That is 17.
Okay.
If we're all in agreement, Ignis will do her celestial revelation, and her large spectral wings will sprout from her back that are this gem ruby red that fade down into this gray. And she will take that chimera claw that Max had given her, he gave all of us, and she will cast the cantrip light on it. Can I use the spyglass or a piece of ice or storytelling Deus Ex Machina item to use for this?
I'm going to say that's probably not going to work in this instance here, but you can get close to the actual rock formations itself. And how long do you have flight for?
I have flight for a minute. Nope.
A minute, okay. So you're going to rush pretty quickly through these rocks and just... And as you go, you're going to try to see ones that sparkle and which ones they are. And pretty quickly, you find the one that is sparkling that you saw before.
Excellent.
And as you and the rest of the crew, you're going to be looking and trying to identify and maybe like running over to behind where the rock, I imagine, is. And like trying to kind of like, yeah, Max, you're fishing. And but like Buster and Ataraxia, you're like lining up like where... Ignis is, and you're kind of like trying to be directly behind the rock and like maybe look over there and like look at the horizon, I'm thinking. But Ignis, let's go ahead and have you roll... I don't know, I kind of want to roll like a luck check here just to see like...
I was going to say, you want to just roll a statistic check?
I don't know, I want you to be... I think I want you to roll, but what should we add it to it? Let's just roll. Let's just roll straight D20 then, and I'll have you do it, Ignis, and just whatever's on the die. We'll see what luck you can get here.
18 on the die.
Ooh.
I know. It even jumped up on top of my D6 to do that.
Yeah. So you are trying to use the far glass here. You're trying to like shine it through, and it's not quite like getting it, and you're like and so like. You go to the tip of the rock that, like, you can see has a glittery substance, like, almost like rubbed on it. Like, it's got, like, its initial layer is just glittering. And you go right to the top of it, and right above it. And Ataraxia and Buster, as she does this, you see this faint glitter, and you, like, turn behind. And as you turn behind, you can see a faint glittering shining off to the leftmost cave. And you like look at each other, you confirm, and you're like, that's you seeing left? And so like,
here's the question, and I know I'm probably making this more complicated than it needs to be.
Okay.
Would the eye that takes in light be the missing one or the present one?
I think it's the one we're supposed to go in.
All right.
What a twist, like M. Night Shyamalan twist that like, just kidding, you were supposed to go on the one you couldn't see.
Max, you are like, you're throwing back and forth, and you feel a big movement near your line. Like, it pushes towards you, and you're like, whoa. Like, that moved my arm a little bit. Like, I could definitely feel that. It was more than a current. It was definitely a creature below the surface. It was a large fish.
I specifically asked for a small fish.
It was
Not to be known.
It was not a small fish that would be... It was a fish... that was not able to be captured on your type of line or bait. And you perk up a bit. At least alert. At least you're more alert now. Whether you're happy or not, I mean, that's totally up to Max's prerogative, but you are alert.
I want to catch a fish, so I'm like, where's my fish? Like, this big fish needs to go away so the little fish can show up.
Ignis, your flight ends as you come back over the sand, unless you voluntarily decide to fall into the center of this cove here.
You know, probably not. I would like to land on the sand, please.
All right. You barely get to the sand, though. Your foot actually like touches a little bit of water, and you get up onto the sand as you kind of like stumble forward, and you're like, okay. But then the cave on the left there. I need everybody to roll me a perception check, please.
With disadvantage?
Ignis is the only one without disadvantage here.
11.
11 for me, too.
Only a 12.
No, I had a good roll and a bad roll. 8.
You all are discussing this, well, all but Max. You all are discussing which cave to enter and considering what to do when you hear a small splash behind you. And Max, you see this small splash comes up. You catch a glimpse of what it was. And it appeared to be a vertical fin coming up before diving down. And it was a fin on the back of this fish, like on their back as well as their tail.
How big of a fin are we talking about?
Pretty big. From your estimation, this fish would probably be about 10 feet long.
Let me be straight with me, Thomas. I'm not catching any fish, am I? I feel like you've led me on a line here.
I'm not catching him, man.
He's led you. He led you down
stringing
this
me
path.
along.
I've been reeling you in.
You've been reeling me in.
He made it so clear that this was fishable water.
I've been reeling you in because it's at that moment where there are 3 projectiles that get thrown from the water at the 3 closest individuals.
I just wanted a fish, dude.
And I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative, please.
Well, you were fishing with cheese. What did you expect?
I expected a little fish. I had a good idea in mind, and Thomas said, no, I don't like your idea. Go away.
What were you going to do with a little fish?
I was going to catch the fish, and I was going to talk to the fish, and then I was going to cast beast sense on the fish so I could see under the water.
That is a good
It was
idea.
a good plan. Listen, we
It
need
was,
to keep. We
and
need
you
to.
said
we
we could roll
need
back.
to keep. We
No.
need to keep a fish.
No.
From
No,
here on
you
out, we
said
need to
I
catch a
want-
fish and keep a fish.
You said, I want to make you fish for 30 minutes, Jacob. And what do you get? What would have happened anyway?
I'm shocked that, Jake, you really thought you were going to get a fish.
I rolled a 17 on survival. I thought that was pretty good for fishing.
That doesn't mean you catch anything.
Are there usually fish near the surface of super deep lakes?
No.
It depends on the fish.
That's fair. I'll give you, it does depend on the fish.
I mean, if anything, this just shows Thomas's lack of fish knowledge.
Doesn't do anything. I don't know anything about
Hey.
fishing.
We absolutely know I have no fish knowledge.
Oh.
But
Oh, I know.
Come on, we don't need to call it out.
I just witnessed it. I went through 30 minutes of no fish knowledge there.
Okay. Let's get this all set up here.
I am encouraged that no magic has been detected, to be honest. Even if it's creatures, it's nice that it's not magic. It's not magic things. At least near us.
Yet.
Yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. A big old fat yet. Are the attacks coming before initiative starts?
No, they are breaking the water, but that's what initiates.
I see.
So they're not going to impact you if you roll before them.
Got it.
So, okay, finally, Buster, your initiative.
All right. So I hear the things shooting at us.
Your initiative order. Your initiative.
Oh, sorry. 25.
Josh, wait. I go first.
25.
He's just like, I'm going first.
I assume I'm gonna go first because that's the best initiative I can roll.
Ignis.
18.
18. Ataraxia.
11.
Max.
24.
24. Very nice.
Whew.
Let's go.
Did you get a natural 20, Joshua?
I did.
Nice.
I hate wasting it on initiatives, but
Yeah.
it still feels good to
Let's
roll.
celebrate it. Celebrate it.
Yep.
So these, what emerges from the water are 3 spears with thick chains hooked behind them, and you hear them clatter as they come whizzing towards you. And since this is a magic world, physics, you can see them coming towards you and react before they hit you. And we actually have Buster and then Max going first. So, Buster, what do you do?
Okay. How far away is whatever's throwing it from me?
It is from the water breaking. It is only about 15 feet away from you.
Okay.
It is in the blue area, past the cliffside, because it is a sheer drop off close to this beach here. So it could be in deep water. It is in deep water. You just don't know how deep.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to... all right, let me just...
Joshua, we had all this time to decide what to do. I'm just kidding.
I guess I do want to know more what's going on.
Yeah.
Great depth, unstave your tidal wave. Just straight up tidal wave the shoreline where those are coming from. So it's 100-foot range, and a big old tidal wave is just gonna like rock up whatever's there and smack it back down. It's a DC 14 dexterity saving throw.
I'm going to give these creatures advantage just based off of their current situation here, but it is going to disrupt these 3 spears heading towards your party.
Sweet.
Where they are going to be entirely engulfed in the water and thrown off course, as the 3 were directed directly towards Max, Buster, and Ignis. That is no more. But here's the first one. That's a fail. Second one's a success. Third one is a success. So 1 fail, 2 successes.
All right, I rolled terrible damage dice, but the failed one takes 12 bludgeoning damage and is pushed 10 feet away, and the 2 successful ones aren't pushed 10 feet and just take 6 damage. And any loose objects are also pushed 10 feet away.
Okay, sounds good. So these spears do get pushed 10 feet away, but them being on chains, they most likely will get pulled back in.
Okay, and that's it. That's it for Buster.
All right, Max, it now goes to you. You saw and know where those were. The tidal wave has dissipated at this point. You don't see anything new, however, without a light source down below. You can't see what's going on currently.
Max is upset. He wanted a fish, and this is
I'm
just...
pretty sure Jacob is upset.
No,
but we'll go
Max
with
is
that.
upset. Someone interrupted his fishing, and he's like, what the hell? And so he will... We're all kind of next to each other, correct?
You are. You're all within 10 feet of each other. It's a short little beach
Well,
here.
because the lieutenant took my spyglass without permission, I will reach out and just grab the claw that has a light on it. How long does the light last, Mickey?
Oh, I literally was just looking at it.
8
I think
hours.
it's an
Okay.
hour's time.
It might be an hour or 8 hours.
An hour.
He will just grab that, and you said it's 15 out into the water.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where the spears, the javelins came from.
Max will just be like, he'll just kind of grumble to himself, like, I just wanted a fish. And he'll grab the claw from Ignis with light on it without asking. And he will start running to the water, like he's almost going to dive in. But then he just keeps running. Because of wearing this new breastplate, I have water walk.
Ooh. Yeah, you do.
So he will just literally Jesus this thing run out onto the water to the 15 feet where the spears came out of, and he's going to drop the claw down into the water, which will sink, and he will see what the heck is down there.
All right, and dropping is a free action, so as you wait the 6 seconds to drop down, you see some familiar creatures.
Sahu-again.
Sahu-again.
You see 3 Sahu-again pulling towards themselves these chains and pulling the javelins to their hands, looking at the light source and then looking up at you as you stand above them with your massive crossbow, I imagine, at least pulling out or looking at them with your hand on it. You also happen to see 3 hammerhead sharks that are swimming around that seem to be assisting the Sahu-again. One of them is mounting the back of a hammerhead shark, looking up at you, gesturing and getting his javelin ready upwards. But you have an action still.
How deep are they?
They are only maybe 10 feet down.
Could I clarify something real quick? Because I goofed up some stats. The 10-foot thing is a thunder wave effect, which is a new spell I have. The tidal wave doesn't push them 10 feet. It prones them if they fail and doesn't if they... So
Okay, so one of them is totally disoriented and is unable to pull back their javelin, but the other 2, thank you for the clarification, they've got their javelins and they're ready to go. But yeah, they're only about 10 feet below you. They were pretty close to the surface to try to pierce you with their javelins.
Okay. Max will look down just pissed off at these freaking Sahu-agains who keep showing up, keep messing with my crap, keep messing with the crew, and he'll just be like, I really, really want you to go away. Will use his breath weapon to do a 15-foot cone down into the water and hit these guys and the sharks and everything.
Okay, and this is thunder.
This is thunder damage. They need to make a dex saving throw.
Thunder is a noise,
Uh-oh.
right?
Yeah, but noises travel through water just fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Sonic damage, essentially.
Yeah, okay, so it should be fine traveling through a surface as opposed to like fire where it just immediately
it's not like
dissipates.
fire.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If anything, it should be more effective traveling through water, if you ask me.
Well, let's just not throw physics out the window here.
No, we're bringing physics into the conversation here is what we're doing.
Regardless, nothing is hindered in your breath weapon damage here. Great, so what do they have to roll?
Dexterity saving throws.
And it's a 13 or a 12?
It is 12.
Okay. So 1 succeeded and 2 failed.
What about the sharks?
I'm going to roll for the sharks now. All successes.
The successes are going to take half damage. And the fails are going to take full damage. That is 11 damage.
Nice.
And then I will bonus action Slayer's Prey. And I will pick the Sahu-again that's riding the shark.
Very good. Very good.
And then I'm going to use my extra attack and shoot my crossbow at him.
So, yeah, these Sahu-again are looking really bad. So shooting a crossbow at that Sahu-again, go ahead and roll damage for an attack. Now, because it's underwater, what is your normal range for your weapon?
100 feet.
Perfect.
That is...
Now, I must say, because it's not a it is a crossbow. It's a heavy crossbow,
Yep.
isn't it?
It is a heavy crossbow.
Well, have we found a way around the rules here for underwater combat? Every ranged attack has disadvantage underwater unless it has the crossbow trait.
Yep.
Well. All right, so go ahead and roll.
It's like we're on a pirate adventure in water.
Normal attack, sir.
25 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay, then he's going to take the damage plus the Slayer's Prey damage. 13 damage.
This Sahu-again gets impaled, and their grip against the shark loosens as they float off the shark, and the shark sort of like swims away, leaving the Sahu-again letting go of their javelin as it falls until it clinks against their arm and starts to pull the Sahu-again down to the bottom of this watery pit due to the weight of the chain and javelin.
Okay. Then that was because they were 15 feet out. Max ran the 15 feet. He'll run the 15 feet back.
Great. You are now on the surface, having defeated one of their allies.
Yeah, he'll get back to the beach and just go,
Sahu-again.
That was the next Sahu-again who was going to go right after Max. So it's now Ignis's turn.
Excellent.
Ignis and then Ataraxia.
Is that tooth still falling through the water?
Oh yeah, it's falling. It's like now it with the Sahu-again as it keeps falling down, their bodies, the tooth and the body starts to just keep falling further and further and further.
was it a tooth or a claw?
It was a claw.
It was a
sorry.
claw.
Do claw? I just realized this. Do claws float or sink?
They're sinking right now.
Okay. There you go. In this world, we now know
When they've been imbued with
a
light and get
Crimea's claw sinks
canon.
in the world of D&D.
Cannon. Watching Max run back toward land across the water, Ignis will see a thick golden line intersecting with the water. And as she reaches out and plucks it and summons an echo, an echo of Ignis appears 15 feet, so near that Sahu-again. And she is dressed in the same thing that this Ignis is. She's just, her hair is sopping wet. and looks like she has been in the water, which is not how her echoes that we've been in the water normally look. And she will make her attack action from the echo's position.
Okay, so being underwater, attacking melee, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Great. Yep. Doesn't have a swimming speed. They have, unless it's a dagger, javelin, short sword, spear, or trident, is a disadvantage melee attack.
Okay. Well, there you go. Oh, that was really disadvantaged. That was like a 7.
Oh, that is a miss.
And the next one is... Oh, that's 23 to hit.
There you go.
So as she reaches out, the echo goes for the first strike and misses the Sahu-again. And as she comes back, she'll grip an echo javelin out of the other realm and stab him. Even though it's not a javelin, we're not saying it's a javelin damage. It's just for flavor.
I gotcha. No, that's a smart correction of oh, I made a mistake here. Let's fix that to where I can successfully hit. I like that flavor.
And that's 7 bludgeoning damage.
This Sahu-again gets impaled by this otherworldly, other dimension spear. Feeling as they go to feel it, their hand passes through it, and yet it's through their own body, and they are unable to really comprehend what's happening as their body just starts sinking down to the ground as they stop moving their javelin, pulling them down to the bottom of this hole, also having been defeated.
And Echo Ignis will then turn to the last Sahu-again and just wait for their next move.
Excellent. Ataraxia, it goes to you unless, Ignis, you had anything else to do.
That is her turn.
Yeah, you're right, Ataraxia.
All right, quick science report. Claws are made of keratin, just like our fingernails, which is about twice as dense as water. So the claw would sink.
Let's see. That's got us. Science!
Now, that aside, I think we could use a little more light in this place. It's time to fairy fire these Sahu-again / sharks.
Nice. There's 4 of them, and so you just... How do you cast this fairy fire and invoke it?
Yeah, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take one of my inkwells out of my bag and uncork it and just spray it in an arc up in the air, and as the blobs of ink hit the air, they transform into little motes of light that descend down and cling to the creatures in a 20-foot cube.
Is this a dex save?
This is going to be a dex save. DC... What is my DC? Let me find that real quick. 15.
Only 1 shark succeeds.
Yay! I am a fan of that outcome.
So all of them are blazing with fairy fire. What light glows off of them with this globby ink that surrounds them?
I think in this instance, it kind of looks like bioluminescent jellyfish almost. Just kind of glomming on to these scaly creatures here. And I'm going to say I get to choose, apparently, every time I cast it, whether it's blue, green, or violet. So it's going to be blue this time. Why not?
Ooh, blue indigo light emanating from the hole, and blue fairy fire here. Well done. Bonus action movement, Ataraxia?
Yep. Bonus action, inspiration, bardic inspiration to, Max just seems really disappointed. He could probably use a little bit of inspiration right now. So, bardic inspiration to Max.
All right. Well, we have the Sahu-again and their shark mate, or shark pal's turn going. And this Sahu-again is going to get on their shark and force it to swim far away. 80 feet away, in fact, away from your current location, while the other 2 sharks, without guidance, they're going to snap at Ignis's echo, and they're going to attack. And they're both just attacking at the same time, so let's see. They both have... Oh, they have water breathing. Could you believe that?
The sharks do.
All right, that is going to be a 21 for the first shark, Ignis, and then a 21 for the second.
As they both chomp down, that echo covers her face, and as they come together and they both bite down, there's a moment of inky red in the water as it fades away.
As the sharks just continue to chase after that red, maybe smelling a remnant of blood from another dimension, something that that hasn't been able to satiate their hunger, and they just keep chomping and swimming around as the four of you look down, seeing a Sahu-again on the back of a shark, swimming down deeper and deeper into the hole. That is where we're going to end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball.
Successful encounter. No one died.
Yeah. No one took damage.
2 Sahu-again died.
Yeah, that's true.
That sounds like a successful
As we
encounter.
said,
Rip
no
and
one
chat.
of consequence died.
No one of consequence died. No one with a name that we cared about died.
Oh, I can come up with
that
names
was-
for these two.
That was
Sahu-again.
Barbara and Gilly
And
Face.
those
okay?
will be on a quiz. Those
And those
names.
will be on a quiz, so write them down.
And if you don't know what that quiz is, you need to go look at our patron exclusive posts. But will the crew follow after this Sahu-again and the shark? We'll have to find out next time on ICF, or rather I Cast Fireball. Players, Jacob, Mickey, Ned, Josh, thank you so much for playing. Thank you for your fun and creative ideas, and thank you for going fishing. And you players, thank you for listening and following along in this fun adventure. If you want to comment on this adventure, send us a message, leave us a 5-star review. We'd love to hear it. You can shoot us a message at icastfireball2020@gmail.com. You can go on our social medias, but we will not see it just because we are not active on the social medias. I should say we are active.
I'm incredibly active on the social medias.
So you can actually go. Let me roll that back. The DM is not active on the social medias, but you can reach a cast member at iCastFireball20 on Instagram or Facebook, or you can go look at our patreon.com/iCastFireball20 and see if the $5 a month Patreon tier works for you, and jump into our Discord. And you can not only interact with the cast, you can jump into a number of threads that we have, including a DM specific channel where some of the cast cannot see your questions, or you can go to a thread of against the DM, where the DM can't see anything that is talked about in there as well. And it's just a fun opportunity to get to talk to other fans as well. We have a weekly recap from a lot of people on our Discord about all of their thoughts and conspiracies about what's going on in the current campaign. So go give that a listen, and go give that a check out, I should say, to see if that works for you. We want to shout out a sister podcast, like every time, Improv Tabletop. They too have a Patreon, and they just finished one of their year-long campaigns on their Patreon. It's an exclusive bonus campaign that they had going on called the Miceborn, using the Mouse Ritter TTRPG system, which is classic old school D&D rules. Right, Ned? And
Yeah, it's designed to really evoke the feel of like OD&D, like way, way, way back in the day.
you get to see how brutal it is. I mean, as soon as the second episode. So, I mean, I would highly recommend going to take a look at that as well to see how brutal and chaotic and just severe it can get. But go give them the 5-star review. Don't forget to leave a review for them as well. We're going to shout out Titans of Altera, Josh's podcast. He's got great stuff that's going on, I believe. Josh, can we announce it that you recorded?
Yeah,
today?
I mean, yeah, we technically have recorded the finale already. So for season 3, it's been a long time in the making, but we're just editing is required now to get it wrapped.
You heard it here, folks. Finale has been recorded. The conclusion is coming to an end here with Titans. It's a sad day, but also a very fun time to be able to see such a wonderful, passion-filled project come to a satisfying conclusion. So don't forgive them. Don't sleep on them. They are an amazing podcast, fun story, 3 seasons. So you've got a lot of content you can get through if you haven't started. Go give them a check out. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table, we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon.
Maximus Shuns.
Ataraxia Kalian.
And Buster Bilgewater.
Let's keep that fire going, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.